In the spring of 2015, I was leading a team of fellow MSU students to answer this question: how can we assist elementary teachers who have few resources to educate their students through play? Our eventual answer to this question was we created a magnetic levitation train experience for a 5th grade classroom at North Elementary in Lansing. However, building the magnetic levitation train wasn't the most important part. The most important part, and what I want to focus your attention on, is what led us to building it in the first place. And what led us there was our community, because we listened to their needs and struggles. So before we find out what happened at the school, let's take a step back and find out how we got here. First, we listened to teachers like Mrs. Sarah Lawrence. She would say, I love having the students learn about science in ways that are more engaging. Like this one time, I had them build little toy cars with sails, and I had them race the cars by blowing on the sails, and they had so much fun. And you know, I would love to do stuff like this more often, but I really just lack the time and money to do so. And that's not unique to me. That's like a lot of urban public school teachers. And we listened to 5th graders like Moyesh and Fahad. They would say, Evan, sometimes we get bored during class. And that's okay, I got really bored during my classes too. And they would say, Evan, sometimes we just want to play with this stuff we learn about in class. It looks awesome. And that's a totally reasonable desire for a 5th grader to have, or anyone for that matter. So one day in our search for answers, we wandered into the Impression 5 Science Center. It's this awesome place in downtown Lansing with some really cool interactive exhibits. And we laughed and we ran around and we played and explored like we were little kids. And after we left, we realized that this philosophy they had of learning through play was exactly what Mrs. Lawrence and her students were looking for in their science lessons. So we went back to Mrs. Lawrence and we said, Mrs. Lawrence, have you ever been to Impression 5? And she says, yeah, duh, of course, I love it there. And we said, why don't you take your students there? And this is what she told us. It costs a lot of time and money to go to Impression 5. I mean, between renting out the buses, buying tickets, and we have to do our own fundraising, the additional stress and energy just isn't worth it. And trust me, I'm so maxed out already as it is. So after listening to the needs and struggles of our community, we realized we needed to bring the Impression 5 experience of learning through play to the elementary school. Exhibit designers at Impression 5 explained to us the psychology behind creating fun and interactive exhibits. And we used those insights to create the magnetic levitation train experience. They even let us test it out at Impression 5 first, so we can make sure the kids actually enjoyed playing with it. So back to the classroom. We're in front of the class, and we're showing the kids YouTube videos of real maglev trains, like the one in China, and they're all like, whoa! And then we show them our maglev train, and how you can have a floating car. It's really cool. And they're all like, whoa, that's so cool, how's it floating? And then, with really no instruction as to how to build one, or even what it should look like, we sent them off in teams of 2 to build their own. And they did great. Remember Moyesh and Fahad? Well, they were teammates, and they did not get along very well at first. But we had the students race in a tournament, and they made it all the way to the Final Four. And I don't have a picture of it, but there's this just great moment where they're hugging it out because they're so happy they made it so far. And this wasn't a temporary thing. We donated the tracks to the school, and we'll be going back every year. So we filled Mrs. Lauren's needs because we provided just this really cool opportunity for her to teach her students about force and motion in ways that were engaging and challenging for her students. And we fulfilled the students' needs because they just got to have a lot of fun. So like I said, the most important part of all this wasn't building the maglev train. I mean, it was awesome and it was important. But the most important part is what led us there. And that was our community, because we listened to their needs and wants and struggles. So you're probably all wondering what the point of the story was. And when I told the story to my cousin, she says, yeah, Evan, what was the point of that story? Well, the point of this story was to show you how we use human-centered design to break down problems. Human-centered design, it's this powerful method of problem solving where interdisciplinary teams create with the people they want to impact. So we don't create for people, we create with people. And everyone can use human-centered design to create impact. You just need empathy, optimism, and an open mind. So why do we use human-centered design? We use human-centered design because it works. It works because it's empathetic. We listen to people, and we put ourselves in their shoes. You saw how much time we spent with our community, and the results were something they loved because they were integral in creating it. And when you don't take the time to listen and understand people, you can end up with disasters like the $1.3 billion the Los Angeles School District wasted on iPads for every student. Administration didn't buy in. Teachers, they were untrained. Students, they of course abused it. I guarantee you, if they would have spent 20 minutes in any of those schools, they would have quickly realized that iPads were not their top needs. Human-centered design works because it's iterative. We test and we fail and we try again. We thrive on incorporating feedback from everyone involved so we can make sure solutions are truly aligned with their needs. After we tested the maglev train at Impression 5, we made a ton of improvements to it, and not just to the physical being, but to the experience as a whole, based on feedback from kids we got from Impression 5. Human-centered design works because it's interdisciplinary. Look at our team with the project. We had students studying 7 different majors, ranging from sophomores to seniors. Human-centered design provided a common language for us all to work together in. So human-centered design works, and we use it because it's empathetic, it's iterative, and it's interdisciplinary. And it's not just used for creating maglev trains in schools to impact education. It's used to design products and spaces and systems and services to drive social innovation and impact in other areas like health and economy and the environment. And while I was a student at Michigan State, I founded an organization called Design for America that seeks to create that kind of impact locally. At the intermission, please go see some of the really freaking cool stuff they're doing right now. Seriously, it's awesome. And you can even go play with the maglev train while you're out there. At intermission, too, there's some amazing organizations using human-centered design as well to create local impact. Please go interact with them, go learn about them. So why is any of this important to us? It's important because all of us in this room are solving different problems, big and small, at home or maybe abroad. And we need to remember that problems very often involve people. And when you're dealing with people, you can't forget their emotional contexts. Those are real, and they shape how people perceive reality, and they shape how these problems are formed. So when you're working with the people that you impact every day, think very carefully about how they feel. Put yourselves in their shoes, listen to them. That's how you can start using human-centered design today to create your own impact.